So I thought I'm going to stay in Australia and just sort of work out here. And then I got a phone call from my reps, and they were like, "Look, we want you to go on tape for this TV series called The Beautiful Life," which was an Ashton Kutcher produced TV series that had Misha Vard in it. It bombed. Like, I think they got told that their show was axed at lunchtime in this third episode or something. But anyway, so I ended up putting myself on tape, and they really, really liked what I did, and eventually moved me up to the main character to audition for. And I didn't really want to do it because it was all about models. The show was basically about a bunch of models, and I was like, I'm not going to get this. They're going to give it to a really pretty guy. So like, why am I wasting my time? My manager's like, just do it. So the next day I got a phone call that they said they loved my tape, and they flew me out to LA to test for the role. And it was really awesome because I got to meet Ashton Kutcher, which was cool. And then I ended up not getting it. They gave it to a really pretty guy. So I predicted that. But then a week later, I met with the heads of Warner Brothers because they had heard about the test, and we sort of met and had a chat, and I said, look, we've got this project that we think you'd be perfect for if you're interested. So I read the script and I got back to them and said, yeah, I love it. Can I audition? They're like, yeah, absolutely. So I met with the casting directors. Casting really liked me. And then in LA, basically what happens is you meet with casting. If casting think you're right for the role, they'll move you forward to the producers, and then you have a producer session. So I went back for this producer session and met with the producers. There was about 5 people in the room. You do your audition, you sort of walk away. About an hour later, they called me up and said, yeah, we want to test you for the role. So in LA, basically the way it works is there's a studio that makes the show, and then there's the network that the show's on. So you've got to get through 2 more sort of levels after the producers. So I went into this studio session, and it was down to me and another guy for this role. And walked away. I was really happy. There was about probably 40 people in the room. These are high-power executives. They don't say anything, but they're the ones that ultimately make the decision. And got a phone call that night. They said, look, they really like you. They want you to test for the show with the network, and it's going to be in a couple of days, but they're going to test you against a bunch of people because the head of the network wants to see you against a lot of people, not just one guy. So I went back to this network test, and there was like 11 people there. And I was like, oh, this is horrible. So went through the day, and we'd go into the room, and there was like 40 people who were watching, and then you'd walk out and you'd wait. And I remember the first time they came out, they were like, Chris, Andrew, and Paul, you guys are done for the day, you can go home. And I was like, oh, okay. Then we all went back in again and auditioned again. And then it came down to 2 guys. It was me and another guy, and his name was Paul Wesley. So the rest of the story is basically history, but I got very close to getting the role of Stefan, which would have been an interesting story and a journey. I guess you guys would have been a lot more excited right now. Absolutely.
Oh my God,
but in saying that, I think Paul Wesley has done an absolutely incredible job. I would have been a very different Stefan, I think. And, I'm really glad to be a part of the show. And it's really nice to play an original vampire. So it's a long story anyway.
Good for them.